Americans are exhausted, and these TikTok videos explain why. Now, I watch these videos and it hits different because being where I'm at right now, it's just not what I experience. But check out these videos.
You're told to chase the American dream. But what if the system was built for us never to win? In America, most people aren't living to enjoy life. They're working to survive.
She said this beautifully. The people in the United States aren't working so that way they can find something fun to do and enjoy their time. They're working just to survive. And this is the same story for a lot of people in the United States.
Most are working 2 jobs just to afford rent, food, bills. Healthcare is astronomical. We're barely taking any time off because in this day and age, if you take off, you can risk losing everything.
So why are millennials burning out at record pace? Well, it's because y'all told us all we had to do was get the good grades and work really, really hard, and we too could have the American dream. But yet here we are in our mid to late 30s, still trying to pay off that student loan debt for the college degree that we no longer use. We can't afford to buy a house, let alone save for retirement. But the good news is we're not going to be able to retire anyway, so what's the point?
And he's talking like, what do you call that? A speed bullet train, right? One of them trains that go like 250 miles per hour. That's crazy. But everything he's saying is exactly right. Exactly right. You're told when you brought up, get good grades, go to college, get you a degree, find you a good job, and be successful. But what ends up happening is people get caught up in debt, and they're not really getting ahead. They're moving backwards.
Point. And there's also this whole idea too that, like, you know, we were programmed to believe that our worth comes from our level of productivity, and so we've kind of created this subconscious addiction to stress. We wear stress as an honor badge to show off our enoughness and get the validation and approval from our parents and our coworkers in society. And even though we're making far more than our parents ever did at our age, somehow the cost of living still far exceeds the increase in wages. But
like, we're on the news right now glorifying the fact that we have increased paid sick days. Ooh, we got 9 now. Sometimes we're sick for longer than that. Then don't forget, if you have a family, we can't tell when they're sick because these 6 days really only account for you. So it's just so much pressure on people that are working, especially people that are doing super important jobs. Not to say everybody's job's not important, but you know what I mean. Like, we're more so worried about our job and losing our job than taking care of ourselves. What?
One battle that's happening on me on the inside is I'm trying to keep it from controlling my life. I'm trying to keep the anxiety, the worrying to a minimum and still be able to function at high capacity. And I'm having a hard time doing it. Getting up, going to work, and, you know, trying to become a content creator now just to help me get a life balance and come out of survival mode. All we know how to do is get up and keep moving, keep pushing, and keep trying to make something happen with all the noise in our head while we feeling beat up and down.
65% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 65% of Americans do not even have $1,000 for an emergency fund. More than that are 2 paychecks away from homelessness. The states struggling right now the most, the people in the states, the top 2 are both red states. Number 1 is Texas. The people there are struggling financially. The second state is Florida, another red state. The people are struggling.
Here's the part that nobody really talks about. It's not that Americans are doing something wrong. They're doing everything right. So to the contrary, it's the system itself. There's a debt cycle. Getting up to work every single day, and then you go to work, and then you come home, you have enough time to clean up, maybe watch something on Netflix, and then it's time for you to lay down and go to sleep, to get up and do it all over again. It's just the system itself. And I know a lot of people are looking for an escape. The lifestyle is just exhausting. It's this grind culture of always having to figure out a way. Always worrying about tomorrow. Always worrying about, how am I going to get enough money to do this? How am I going to get enough money to do that? How am I going to get past the next week? How am I going to afford a house? How am I going to pay my student loan debt? Or what's gonna happen if I call in sick tomorrow? Am I gonna lose my job? There's a lot of people that are on their last leg, and you know what that means? If you miss a day of work, then you're out the door. And if you miss that day of work and you're out the door, not only do you lose your job, but you lose your way of life. You lose your way and your source of income. You're 1 or 2 steps away from being homeless. If you lose that job, everything is over for you. Maybe you have to go live with your parents. Maybe you have to go roommate with a friend until you get back on your feet. These are fears that people live with all the time. And it's not something that's out of the ordinary for Americans to lose their job and then lose everything and then have to struggle to figure out how to get back on their feet again. It's just how the system is made. And if you don't figure out a way to get ahead, then you're just lost forever. Leaving the United States doesn't automatically solve your problems. It doesn't solve your problems financially. It doesn't solve your personal problems that you might have in your life with family or friends or with your job. But it does change your emotional pressures. And for a lot of people, that's enough for them to feel like they're finally free. After watching all those clips, hearing all that stress, seeing how exhausted people are just trying to survive, I came out here and just stood still for a moment. No horns, no deadlines, no notifications pulling at my attention, just the sound of the ocean. Life moves different out here. People walk slower. Conversations last longer. Nobody looks like they're racing against the time. I see people skating, laughing, sitting on the sidewalk, just watching the world go by. They're not in a hurry to be anywhere else. In the US, we're trained to move fast. Fast food, fast careers, fast conversations, fast lives. We don't slow down until we're forced to, by burnout, sickness, or emotional exhaustion. Here, slowness isn't a failure, it's a way of life. Watching people here really made me think, how many of us back home actually feel like we're living? Or are we just existing between work shifts, waiting for weekends, waiting for vacations, always waiting for life to start? Because this right here, this calm, this stillness, it isn't luxury. It's what being human is supposed to feel like. And I know what some people think when they see this. Oh, that looks nice, but I could never do that. I have responsibilities. I don't have time. I can't afford to slow down. But the truth is, life is passing either way. We're aging, either while rushing or while actually experiencing the moments. This isn't about escaping the US. It's about realizing what the pressure is doing to us. Sometimes you don't notice the weight you're carrying until you finally put it down. Out here, I don't see people defining their worth by their job titles. I see them defined by connection, by food shared, by beer shared, by time together, by laughter that doesn't fit into a schedule. This contrast is why this video exists. Not to say one place is perfect, but to remind us there are other ways to live. America teaches us to grind for freedom someday, but watching life out here reminds me that freedom isn't something you earn later on. It's something you feel every day you're allowed to live fully. And the hardest part, once you see the contrast, you experience it, you can never unsee it. So my question to you is, would you ever leave the US for a calmer life like this?